This is J. Krishnamurti's 8th public discussion in Saanen, 1964.
As this is the last discussion, at least in the 10th year, what shall we talk about this morning? Humor in daily life. Recognition. Recognition.
In working with what was discussed yesterday, I immediately ran into two difficulties. Would it be appropriate?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yes. One is that when I collide with an event and it doesn't exactly please me, an emotion comes up. And I feel that emotion, and it's really strange to me. But then I say, well, why did that arise? What is it? And then I start to verbalize, and then before I know it, I'm naming it. And if I don't do that, then I just bear with the emotion until it wears out. And that doesn't seem sensible.
So what's the question, sir?
The question is, that when an emotion arises that is not familiar to you, shouldn't you try to find out what it is?
Uh-huh. Should we not, when an emotion arises, find out what it is? And to find out what it is it not necessary to name it? What shall we, other things shall we discuss this morning? Me, which is the present.
I understand that in love there is no me, not always in the present. You said, it seemed to me you said yesterday, if I may bring in yesterday, that the me is in the present. Is that a mental paradox?
Apparently I said yesterday, the me is in the present. Is that a paradox? Anything else?
Can I mention my second comment? And that is, in regard to the speaker yourself, you're not a dead book that we're reading. You're obviously a person wiser than ourselves. So there's a mixed up area of influence and learning that I wonder if you could untangle.
I can catch the first part of it, sir.
Yes. That in regard to yourself, to me at least, there's a mixed up area of learning and influence. And I wonder if it could be untangled. Not to be influenced by you, but to learn.
I don't quite understand what you mean. Sorry, I have to repeat it. So would you kindly...
Yes. That as I listen to yourself, I find it extremely difficult not to be influenced and to restrict myself to learning.
The gentleman says, as I listen to you, it's extremely difficult not to be influenced, but actually listen, actually learn. What were you going to say, Mira?
In communion with the stream, space and sensibility are in. But when you are out of communion in the noisy world, space and sensibility seem contradiction, and then I don't know what.
I'm afraid I don't know either what, a lot about lots of things. I understand. I wonder if you can discuss something but to include all the things that have been said.
Can self-knowledge ever come to an end?
Can knowledge ever come?
Self-knowledge.
Can self-knowledge ever come to an end?
And to it. Is there the possibility for the individual delving into the unconscious that this may ever cease?
I didn't catch the first part of it, sir.
Can self-knowledge reach a point, a limit?
Can it reach a point?
Can self-knowledge reach a point, a limit? Can it ever cease?
Yes, that's right. Can self-knowledge, self-knowing ever come to an end? Perhaps if we could consider a certain point, certain subject which may include all this, that might be helpful, right, sir? Including communion, sensibility, whether self-knowing has ever an end, and so on, so on, so on. See, most of us are dissatisfied. We think we find satisfaction in certain action, and in fulfilling that action, there is no satisfaction. Or in completing a certain thought, a certain feeling, a fulfilling in a certain area, we think, don't we, that through this fulfillment we will find complete satisfaction. And it seems we never do. We are never satisfied. With sex, with money, with all the various activities that we indulge in, we don't seem to find complete gratification in anything. And not having found gratification in so-called outward activities, we turn inwardly. But the motive is still the same, to find complete satisfaction. And so self-knowing becomes another way of gratifying. All contemplation, all meditation, all communion, all being highly sensible, sensitive, or being intelligent, the search and the determination is it not, to find satisfaction, to never find oneself in discontent. And living in this world, in the modern world, discontent seems to mount, increase. And also, we are always seeking out way a sense of permanency, a state where we can say at last, I've got it. At last I've understood. At last I have reached. Now I can relax. I've got the tablet, the idea, the achievement, the satisfaction. Now I can take things easily. And the more intelligent, the more intellectual one is, the more one finds this tremendous satisfaction in ideas, in concepts, in formulas. And we spend our time in comparing, adjusting, modifying, till at last we come to something that gives us complete gratification, satisfaction, in which our mind can take complete rest. And when you are asking questions, is that discontent dictating the question? Or are you asking questions not out of discontent or gratification or seeking gratification, but asking a question that has no answer? Because most of us ask questions because we want to find an answer, satisfactory, approximative, or an answer so suitable that it will give us comfort. So one has to find out what motive, what is the urge behind the question. If you put the right question, the very right question is the right answer. And you don't have to ask anybody the question if it is the right question. And the mind, as one is aware of it, is all the time groping, all the time searching, longing, expecting, waiting, exploring. Because from the background, because of this enormous background of man's discontent, not only with himself but with his environment, with his family, with his job, with his ideas, with his church, with everything. The more one is awake, the more discontent one is. And really, the question is, or the problem is, or the issue is it possible to never take a position. To never come to a final experience. Because it seems to me most of us seeking permanency in some form or another, certainty, in so many different ways, and not having found it, we turn ultimately to what man calls God. And this complete satisfaction in the experience of an idea, and God is an idea, it's man has invented this. All the organized religions are the structure of man's thought. And to find out for oneself, to see the origin of discontent and be finished with it completely. Which doesn't mean that one becomes contented. A thing that is tremendously alive is neither content nor discontent. It's simply alive. And to proceed, never having a resting place, never be caught in experience. It seems to me only such a mind can possibly find out or be in that state which is beyond the limits of time, thought, communion, and which is a state of mind that is truly religious. To me, religion is extraordinarily important. Not the phony religions of churches, not the religion which priests have put together through 1,000 years. That's not religion at all. That's man's structure of fear. And I should think it would be very important to discuss that one thing. Because what we suggested this morning that we should discuss can be discussed at another time. But for each one to enter, which is not to experience, but actually enter into that quality of religious mind. So one has to see the fact and the nature and the significance of experience. Can I go on a little bit? Are you following? Am I answering some of your questions? Right. You see, a mind that demands experience is a very immature mind. We have one experience after another, and they're never satisfied. We're always wanting more, more, more. And the ultimate experience apparently is what you call God. one can see the significance of experience. Experience only gives knowledge. Experience becomes an additive process which is to accumulate knowledge. And from that accumulation, one judges, one acts, one strives for more accumulation. I think that's fairly simple. So there is always a residue, a springboard from which you jump off. But the very act of jumping is to accumulate more, to experience more. So, this demand for experience is the very essence of discontent. What we're trying to get at is to come upon this, you understand? We've had 18 talks. This will be the 18th talk. Just think of that. Terrible. We have met 18 times in this tent. And they've listened to me for 18 times. And there's the train on it. And we're always discussing, asking, inquiring, groping after. You see, if one is totally dissatisfied with everything, with your family, with your husband, wife, children, gods, books, politics, everything in revolt. And then perhaps you will then begin not to find out what somebody else means. Then you'll be asking the right question. And now, unfortunately, we're asking questions to find an answer. What I'm trying to get at is this, very simply. Is it possible for each one of us to find himself immediately with all the intelligence, capacity, ardor, intensity, and passion right at the source of things? Everything else has no importance whatsoever. To live and function and be and act from that. We can go on endlessly talking endlessly asking, reading innumerable books. But all those things do not mean a thing. So I'm just asking you whether you cannot come to that source, to that fountain, and in the very act of drinking at that fountain, you have resolved the problems of life. And why don't we? What is hindering, what is blocking the mind? See, by asking that question, what is blocking, you're already thinking, well, you're investigating, aren't you? You're inquiring, you're analyzing, you're searching, you're saying, well, let me look at my conscious, unconscious problems, this and that. Is there a way of throwing all that aside with one breath? And completely be out of all this. I've said what I have to say for the 18th time, and probably it'll I do to repeat in different words next year. But what does it all mean actually? Do we go on with our petty little ways, clinging to our particular idiosyncrasies and fixed ideas, to our nationalities and griefs and ambitions, and asking, putting out a begging bowl for somebody to fill, and all the time living in sorrow, in confusion. That's really the issue. Knowing very well that no one in the world is going to fill your begging bowl. And that you have to stand completely on your 2 feet alone. I wonder if we really realize that. Really. Not verbally, but actually realized that there is no help for you from anybody. What would happen to you? Do you understand my question? Well, sirs, would you consider that question? Whether you are completely standing on your own 2 feet and not asking anything of another.
Please, may I say, once about 20 years ago, you said it in this life, you have to risk going mad. You did say that. I think there's a point where we all feel that, but we feel you didn't go mad. And in that way, we feel have your influence.
It is said that you said some time ago, the speaker said some time ago, that you had reached a point, that he had reached a point when you could have gone mad. And probably most of us are at that point. And the questioner adds, you probably have not gone mad, but we may. But apart from comparison, you and I wonder if you have ever faced that issue. We have all troubles. We have all problems. There is hate. You are left suddenly alone through death, through having no companion with whom you can talk, exchange opinions, ideas. No one to confirm or to deny what you think or what you see or what you experience to be false or real. I wonder if any of us have really faced that issue. I think it would be important not only to ask that question to ourselves, but also to answer that question. Not just say, well, I'll think about it. There's no time to think about it. You either know or you don't know. There's no in the meantime. Then if you've asked that question and you answer it, what is your answer?
Great sense of freedom.
Ma'am, that's not my... You understand what I said? I said, have you ever faced the immense loneliness, the complete isolation, the sense of standing on your own feet and knowing there is no help physically, psychologically, in any direction? You cannot ask, you cannot pray. Has it ever happened to you? Huh? The gentleman says it has happened to him. I am not doubting the question, the person. When you say yes, at what level does it happen to you? Intellectually? Physically? Or in relationship? You understand? Happening at different levels, disconnected with each other. Or is it a total, complete realization that there is no companion, no friend, no teacher, no guru, nobody, no book is going to answer. That you are completely by yourself, right through your being, not partially. You know, this is one of the most difficult things. Do realize you can't just say, yes, I've got it. One can come to it through bitterness. That's one of the most human things, to be bitter. And through that bitterness to isolate oneself. Or isolate oneself through intellectual superiority, through knowledge, through feeling well, I'm better than somebody else. I don't mean anything of that kind. A total realization that you are by yourself and there is not even your shadow to look to. Hasn't it ever happened to you? I'm afraid not. If it has not happened, then how could you or how can you look at any fact to look at a psychological fact is that, isn't it? I don't know if you're gathering what I'm talking about. Look, sir, suppose one hates, and apparently that's one of the most common things in life, to hate. And to realize the fact that one hates and be completely alone with it. You understand what I mean by alone? Not interpreting it, not trying to get rid of it, not trying to translate it, find out the cause of it, justification of it, and so on and so on and so on. To remain completely alone with that fact. Am I telling you something or not? Am I conveying something? No? See, senor? Yes? Yes. Have you ever done that? A very simple thing. To remain completely alone with the person whom you think you love. Or completely alone without any interference of thought, of idea, but merely be choicelessly aware of the fact of anger, what you will. And see what happens. All that we're trying to say is, we are a bundle of so many influences, so many ideas, so many traditions, so many cultures, a confusion of events, answers, problems. And with this collection, we try to find an answer which is not part of this collection. You're getting what I'm talking about? Either you throw away the whole collection with one breath, and it can be done, and it is done. And that's the only way to do it. There's no other way, not peeling off layer after layer. But actually throw the whole thing away. And you can only throw the whole thing completely, totally away, only when you are wholly alone with that fact. Do it sometime. And you will see then what takes place. Because only a mind that is crystal clear, and it can only be crystal clear when there is no breath of any question, any answer. That is, when there is not a single movement of thought. Because thought is never love. It's only when thought interferes with love, then there is hate and jealousy. And the mind that is religious, not the mind that belongs to religions. That's a cheap mind, a vulgar mind, a sordid mind. But the mind that is religious, that is in a state of complete aloneness and therefore complete silence, and it is only then that the Supreme can be. See, you are listening to my words, I'm afraid. You are hanging on by your teeth to my words, hoping thereby to catch something. But I'm afraid you won't. You see, it's also very simple. It is really quite simple. You know what simplicity is? I don't mean having few clothes and 1 meal a day or sleeping on a hard bench and all that nonsense. I don't mean all that. Those are the pretensions of saints. But we mean by simplicity the fact alone and nothing else. You know what that means? So where are we at the end of 18 talks, or at the end of 18 million years, or 18 days? Where are we, each one of us? Isn't it an important question for you to find out for yourself? Not the idea, but the fact. What's this?
Constant flow of things, drinking from the well and keeping the flame alive, there is no end.
Yes, sir. You see, keeping the flame alive, that word keeping,
That was the truth.
you know, the verb is not only the past, the present, and the future, and the conditional, the verb. But the verb is in essence the active present. The verb, not the word. I'm talking of the verb, like to do, to think, to cry, the verb. The verb means, at least I feel that way, is always in the present, active. A flame is active in the present, not by adding to it. The flame has significance only in the present, living, acting. Not the memory of the flame. You know, all this demands, I won't say demands, again that becomes a terrible thing. You know, we have lost our passion. Probably we have sexual passion, that's all right, but that has its own place, but we're not talking about that. Passion. You know what it means to be passionate? Wait! How can a mind be passionate if it is complex? Which doesn't mean it must have one idea or half a dozen ideas. Passion implies austerity, doesn't it? Not the austerity of the monk or the disciplinarian. To be austere, without any cause, without any demand, because it, you know, it's like a sharp steel sword. And austerity can only be when there is complete simplicity. Not in clothes and expression and food, But the simplicity of a mind that has no problem, that isn't seeking self-expression, that is not influenced, that is not craving more experience. So for passion to be, there must be simplicity and austerity. And where there is austerity, there is beauty. And it is only that passion that sweeps all these things aside. Not self-pity, not clinging to our old habits and images and, oh, I was so happy 10 years ago, now I'm, all that childish, stupid business, which is all waste of energy. But to have this passion, then from that you can act, and it will never diminish. You don't have to add any fuel to keep this passion, because at the root you're simple. At the root there is no problem. At the root, there is the sense of complete austerity. And at the root, there is this extraordinary sense of gentleness and beauty. And then out of that, or in that, there is the flame of passion. And in that, with that you can act. Live, then you can do what you will. Because that is love. Right, sirs? Is that enough for this morning? Isn't that enough? I hope we shall meet again next year on a pleasant journey.